Hello, and welcome to Issues and Answers, East Lyme Issues and Answers. My name is Mark Nickerson, your first selectman. And here we are. If you're watching this, you're watching this, and we're heading into the prime beach season, and what a great beach town we have. With that comes traffic. With that comes crowded beaches. But with that comes tons of pedestrians on our boardwalk, on our main street, people out enjoying the parks, enjoying our beaches. It's a great time of year, and it all comes down to 6 weeks, 8 weeks or so, and we're just starting our summer. So again, welcome to East Lyme Issues and Answers. We have a great guest today, but first, a couple announcements and discussion points to talk about the school plan. You know, the Board of Ed was talking about putting forth a new school plan to build 2 new elementary schools, or refurbish as new, rebuild as new. That's been put on hold due to the state of economics in the state of Connecticut. You know, there's so much uncertainty out there. I think it's prudent to sit back, take a breath, and figure out where the state is going before we start spending a whole lot of money, getting another mortgage payment in this town when we can't afford, you know, to put the lights on, you know. So it's time to step back a little bit. The Board of Ed, the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance, we've all just toured the schools recently. We know that there's things need to be done in our schools. We're not going to be pushing that off for very long. So we might go with a refurbishment plan instead of building a brand new school or 2. And that might be, a smart, prudent way of going about this. But, you know, if your kids went through the schools, you know, a decade or 2 ago, and you're sitting out there going, we don't need to spend money on these schools, but we do. My kids went through the schools a decade ago, and they're looking old. They're looking like they need to be kept up a little bit. There's there's windows that don't open. There's no air handlers in the buildings. The air, if you close the door, no air gets in and out, and some of these classrooms have no windows. So work does need to be done. And of course, this is post Sandy Hook, and we're in a state of a place in this country where security is of the utmost importance and priority. So we need to be mindful of that as well. The state announced that we passed our budget. The state passed their budget with more cuts after we passed ours. But the state has announced, actually Governor Malloy announced that another $20 million of municipal cuts are coming to cities and towns. But they haven't told us how much in each town. So we don't know how much to plan. So of course, we're always looking for efficiencies. But this year we're on pins and needles because we don't know if we'll be cut $200,000, $500,000. We don't know. And that announcement will come, go figure, after the election season. So we will know December or January how much more East Lyme will be cut in owed money from the state. Money that they've already committed to paying us for all their mandates that they require us to do to govern our town. That's kind of bad news, and this show is more about positive things. No better guest today than the positive guy I brought in, but a couple other items. You know, Lobster Fest is coming up July 2nd and 3rd. On the Town Hall Green. Great arts and crafts fair, great fundraiser for the Niantic Lions. The Lions do so much in our community. Thank you, each and every one of you. If you know a Lion, pat them on the back. They're also looking for volunteers, so if you might think of rolling up your sleeves, come on down and help out. Also, Celebrate East Lyme. It always seems like it's so far away, and it's going to be here before you know it. July 16th. All afternoon, all evening. Fireworks that night. No, they're not canceled at East Lyme. They're still going on. Thank you to Dominion, who donates a ton of money for the East Lyme fireworks. Thank you, Dominion. We very, very much appreciate that. Lastly, you've noticed all these little signs around town. Slow down, enjoy our town. Slow down, respect our town. Be mindful that we're driving through other people's neighborhoods as we're cutting through from one side of the town or the other. Please slow down. Maintain a reasonable speed, a prevailing speed that is reasonable. Keep in mind there are lots of kids, lots of joggers, lots of dog walkers, lots of people out and about in the summertime. Drive with care. And that's what these signs are there, just to remind us. It's kind of a good neighbor policy that we want to establish in East Lyme. It's something that we all are concerned about. You've, I'm sure, no doubt, stood by the side of the road and watched somebody buzzing by you and said, boy, that's just not safe. I, too, have been driving cars and I've passed a jogger and went, wow, I probably should slow down a little bit. I don't know if that's ever happened to you. It does happen to me. I'm slowing down now, and it's making a big difference. I'll tell you what, I'm getting to my appointments 30 seconds later than I would have anyway. You don't make up a whole lot of time anyway. My guest today is the mayor of McCook's Beach. He is the czar of the sand in East Lyme. He is John Lake. And if you go down to our beaches in East Lyme, you know John Lake. You know the face. You know the attitude. You know the man. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me come in.
You know, you popped into my office, yesterday.
Yes.
I went, John, you're going to be my guest because I just love hanging out with you. When I get when I hang out with you, it's like a dose of caffeine. It's like just a shot in the arm of a positive promotion and just always a smile on your face.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, what's your function down there? If you haven't been down the beaches, who was John Lake?
Well, I like to start out. I go back a little bit about myself. I worked 35 years at Dow Chemical in Gales Ferry. I've been in town for 10 years, and I've been on my job with Park and Rec for about 9 years. And I started as a gate attendant. Met a lot of people coming through the gate. Right. Made a lot of friends, and then over the last 6 years, I've been the assistant park superintendent. And I just want to mention a few people. I worked with some great people, starting with our director, Dave Putnam, Ed Ball, the maintenance foreman, Rob Swan, great guy who's the park superintendent that we work so closely hand in hand together. All the people in the office. I don't know how many people I can mention, but we're our team. We're a true team at Park and Rec.
They're not paying you to say all this, right?
They're not paying me to say this.
No.
This is how I feel. This is how I feel about it.
Right.
But it's just a great town to live in. First of all,
yeah.
You and I have talked about that many times, and it's just the passion that we have. One, you have a passion for life, but also the passion for your job.
Right.
And we care. And I don't care whether it's a resident. I don't care whether it's someone that comes from it. They care about that beautiful place.
Sure.
And I affectionately call that a little slice of heaven.
Yeah.
And it really is.
And I that's your theme, isn't it? You go around talking about slices of heaven.
And people just smile and they just say, you know what? This place is beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're lucky. We're lucky to have this beautiful nugget of geography right here in our town.
We live in a great place. It's not utopia. It comes with its problems. We talked earlier in the show about traffic. We talk about parking, beach parking, and you see that. I mean, in your face every day. We sold, I think, 3,000 beach passes already this year, something like that, and. We have parking for maybe 1,000. So,
that's correct.
So if you went out and bought a beach pass. Know that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed space and it's sitting there with your name on it, right?
Well,
on a busy 4th of July weekend, 90 degrees out on a Saturday, you might have to get there a little early.
Okay, you just took the words right out of my mouth.
Tell me about that.
What happens is, and I'm going to tell you our really busy time, from 11 o'clock on Saturday or a Sunday on a beautiful summer day to probably 3 o'clock. That's when the parking gets maxed out.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you do not get there early, don't expect a spot right on the wall. Right. It's not going to happen. You may have to park in the upper lot.
So what do you say to the folks? Because we have a lot of, I'll call you all townies, but all East Limers, Niantic people that buy these beach passes for the year. We get them for $25, $35 for the year per car. And you pull in at 11:15 on a Saturday, and the gate attendant says no parking, and you look into the parking lot, and there's all these New York and New Jersey and Massachusetts license plates in the parking lot. What do you say to someone like that? I mean, I know the answer, and we've talked about it on the show, but tell us about the law and what we can and cannot do.
Well, it's basically the non-residents pay $100 for that sticker.
For an annual.
For the annual.
Yeah, yeah.
And the residents pay $35.
Right.
And really, after that, it's first come, first serve.
Yeah.
So if that New York person or if that Massachusetts person gets there early, there's nothing to say they can't take that spot. I mean, that's just the way our system is set up.
The law is that it's not a town-only beach. We can't exclude any outsider from wanting to come in and use our facilities. Yeah. We can charge more, and we charge significantly more for annual passes, and then day passes as well. We charge as well. But if they're coming in and there's a space available, we have to let them in.
That is correct.
And it's probably the right thing to do in the long run. Beach access for everybody.
Well, I'll give you an example on Saturday. Saturday, Rocky Neck, our state neighbor down at 156, they filled up. Once they filled up, of course, the overflow comes to us. Cheney Park filled up. We ran out of parking down there, so we had to turn people out. Yeah. But Big Beach, limited parking, as you already mentioned earlier in this show. So, that's a challenge for us in the future. How are we going to accommodate more people?
Right.
We can bring a lot more people into that beach. So we're going to have to find other parking in our town somewhere.
And I've talked to Dave Putnam. He's been on our show, and he is our Parks and Rec director. And we've talked about trolleys. We've talked about beach shuttles, parking people at Niantic Center or the town hall or one of our other schools or municipal lots, and busing people to Cheney. We have a huge beach down there, but not enough parking. Like, it's as big as Rocky Neck, I think. But you get out there and there's nobody on the beach, or it feels like you have the beach to yourself.
It's a huge beach.
It's so big, not enough parking. So if we could shuttle them from one side of the town to the other, it would make sense. We ran into some budget issues this year and just couldn't pull the trigger this year on getting that done. We're going to see how this year goes. And part of the reason watching what happens this year is we're finally done with construction.
Correct.
We talked about that yesterday. This is the first summer in I don't know how long that we don't have a construction project going on down at the beach.
Well, I wanted to discuss that because I live right on Main Street, and the amount of people all day long on that boardwalk. That boardwalk is getting so much use. It really is the chain that's brought everything together.
Yeah.
You got the beautiful Cheney Park beach. You've got the boardwalk now. You go right into Hole-in-the-Wall Beach, up through a beautiful park and onto McCook's. It's just a beautiful vista. Yeah. So to look at our bay. Again, we're blessed in the geography that we have.
Sure.
And I can't say enough of where we are this year, because this is the first year that we're not in transition.
Right.
We have everything.
We lost the upper parking lot of McCook's for a couple seasons.
Correct.
At least two.
At least two.
Yeah, at least two, maybe three. And prior to that, we were building the bathhouse down at McCook, so that kind of chewed up some parking there.
And I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The question I have is, and people are asking this, the building or portable building that we're going to get at Cheney Park, what's the status of that?
Could you have asked me that off camera?
Sorry. Sorry.
So we were awarded a steep grant of $500,000 from the state to build that bathroom. We're running into some engineering issues about how where we're going to, how we're going to get the pipe down there to accept this, the waste, to bring it back up and then to move it across the Niantic River.
Okay.
It's a very complicated issue. If you dug underneath right in front of Low Tide Louis in that area where the ramp starts going down, it's a spaghetti of pipes and conduits underneath that road. And we're trying to figure out how to get it in. Would we have liked it in this summer? Love to have had it in. Complicated beyond belief. We're trying to figure out how to get it done. It would have to be originally we were approved for a stationary bathroom, much like we have it at the other two beaches and at Vets Field. We can't build that because the new FEMA regulations are such that you can't build anything. We're in a flood zone where everything has to be 10 feet off the low tide or high tide, mean tide level. So 10 feet above sea level, and that's at sea level. So which means we would have a toilet 10 feet in the air. You'd have to have a ramp going around the building 3 times for handicap access, etc. So we did get approval to put a portable in, and they would be very fancy portables that we'd be able to hook up to a truck and pull out if a hurricane was coming up the coast. And it was in any danger of being flooded, and that's allowable with this grant. They're having the same kind of problems with this FEMA regulation. It's probably for a good thing. You know, we keep building things on the shoreline as a human race, but we know that Mother Nature is always going to have her way. So over at Mago Point, they're having the same issues. You know, they want to build a little downtown area down there, and everything's going to have to be everything's going to be starting on the second deck. You know, so bathrooms will eventually come to Cheney Park beach parking lot. Probably next summer. I'm not going to wood on that. I'm just hopeful. We have great engineers in town. They're working hard on that.
Fantastic. I apologize to digress on that.
It's a good thing. We're talking beaches. We're talking, hey, if you go to the beach, you got to go. And we need to have good facilities as well. So we're working on that end.
Right.
Yeah.
But getting back to the beaches, again, it's just special. And I don't care. And Cheney Park has the vista. Hole-in-the-Wall Beach is that nice little nook, the small beach. People love that.
Yeah.
And then McCook's, where else can you go where you can drive up to a retention wall?
I know. Back up.
And you're on the beach.
Yeah,
in 2 seconds, you're on the beach.
I know.
Where else?
You're not walking down a trail like a neighbor to the north. Yeah, it's really cool. So tell me the difference, because you work a lot in the summer. Tell me the difference of a typical weekday, 85-degree weekday. Let's call it Thursday. And a Saturday.
I think the major difference, to be honest with you, is you have a lot of residents during the week. On the weekend and on holidays, you have a lot more non-residents coming in and from people from out of town. And I think that's where sometimes the overload and the traffic comes, and that overflows onto our main street.
Right.
And then I guess even current businesses have issues that if they're open, they need their parking for their business to operate. So parking is always seems to be the biggest issue, whether it be on our own lots or whether it be the overflow that goes out onto the streets. So, but that's the major difference, I would say, between the weekdays and the weekends. Would be the non-residents.
Let's talk about beach safety. So we have a lot of non-residents coming to our beaches and all that. Have they ever? What's your experience with beach safety? Is there ever an issue during the course of your job? You might have to talk to people about certain things. What's allowable on a beach or not? Or?
Yes. I mean, beach safety. I put safety in my opinion number one. Safety is number one in my book. Again, when I worked at Dow, I was on the safety committee. I traveled all around the world for safety committees. Safety in my book is number one. There's nothing more important than safety. And it's up to us to keep people safe, whether it be children, whether it be elderly people, whether it be, people from dogs. We have a lot of dog issues where people come in and, some people just don't acknowledge the sign. And, we have to... there's 2 reasons why dogs aren't allowed.
Right.
Safety and sanitation. Those are the 2 reasons.
Right.
And when someone says, hey, why can't we have dogs in here? That's what I tell them. 2 reasons. Safety and sanitation.
Right.
And it's only for our beach season.
Sure.
After that, obviously there's no dogs ever allowed on the boardwalk.
Right.
But during the beach season, no dogs on the beaches or in the park.
And again, for the boardwalk, it's safety and sanitation too. I'm amazed during the off season when I walk the boardwalk and there's a dog mess in the middle and nobody picked it up. And it's so, first of all, they're violating the rules. And second of all, then they didn't clean up after their dog. That's the whole reason why we don't allow the dogs on the beach. It's unfortunate if you have to ruin it for everyone.
Well, I can give you a quick story.
Sure.
3 years ago when we opened that boardwalk, we went down in the morning on a Saturday morning. And Dave Putnam opened up the gates for the first time. They'd been open in 3 years. And about probably 10 of us went down to view the new boardwalk. And as we were walking back, and we were only down there for, I'm going to say, 15 minutes, there was a woman with a dog. And our gate attendant went over and said, hey, there's no dogs down here now. Mm-hmm. She said, okay. And as we walked back on the sidewalk, it had only been open for, there was a present.
Yeah, a present was left for you.
In 15, after 3 years, within the first 15 minutes. So,
I know.
It's an ongoing battle as far as that goes.
We're working on a dog park somewhere else in town. Great group of citizens are getting together. They hope to raise some money. We hope to match it with some town money. We have a place in mind. We're working toward that. So dog lovers out there, there's going to be a place where we can unleash and let the dogs fly and throw the ball.
That'd be a great idea.
And also seek some shade at the same time. Here's what my takeaway is: on a busy weekend, go down there early, park your car at McCook's or Hole in the Wall or Cheney, stake out your claim on the sand, and then go down and take a walk downtown. Go get yourself a breakfast sandwich at Giuliano's or at some of the other fine establishments downtown serving breakfast. And kind of maybe take a walk and then get your butt in the beach chair and enjoy the rest of the day, and you don't have to fight the crowds. We will really put out that message that residents should get to the beaches, especially during the 4th of July weekend. 10 a.m. is really, it's going to start taking off. You're going to run out of parking, going to run out of beach space. If you're there by 10, that's a good time. That's a good time. To throw
I would say
out
10 would be a good time. Yes.
So that's my takeaway, because I get the weekend coming up, and I want to get down there, and I just wrote it down in my calendar when you were talking.
I want to do one shout out, and I want to do a shout out to the businesses in our town, the mom and pop operators of these businesses. There's no other town, and I'm sincerely, there's no other town that has the giving, so much giving of themselves. One, to our golf tournament. We have a golf tournament. They turn around and they'll write out a $20 gift certificate for our golf tournament. And it's just incredible. Yeah. I get chills when I go around it, because this town is so great.
Yeah, they do, and I know, and I play in that golf tournament, and you always have prizes, and it's from every business in town.
Every business.
And it's so good of you to recognize that. Our businesses get hit up all the time, and we live here, so it's the kids' raffles, it's all the schools, it's all the fundraising, and our businesses are so very generous, and we're grateful for that. Summer music is coming to the beach in August, right?
Summer music, and I think the gentleman that I'm looking at right now is going to be down there playing.
I got to change the date because there's a selectment meeting.
But you are going to join us.
We're going to definitely join. What a nice scene! They put up a stage at McCook's, and the people sit. At McCook's, and the people sit on the beach, and watch and look at the band and listen to the band. And what a great scene that is! That's Wednesdays in August.
Wednesdays in August, and I think we're even going into September. We're going one more week into September. Yes, we are.
We should, because the weather's perfect. We're also putting up a bandstand, they call it. It's going to be a stage with a little shell on top, a little backdrop, and that'll be up at McCook's. There's a little dip, a natural amphitheater as you're walking toward Hole in the Wall. It'll be down there. That should be up in September, October. We'll have some concerts out there. Looking forward to it. And what else is going on? Well, Celebrate East Lyme. That's a big deal.
Celebrate East Lyme is great. I mean, I get in there in the morning about 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I don't get home till about midnight. Yeah. But I'll tell you what, it's work, but it's fun. Yeah. And it's just the greatest. And anybody that hasn't experienced that, come on down. Come on down. And it's and I think aren't you playing that?
We play a little.
Yeah. So he's modest. These guys are good.
my band donates their time. We play up at McCook's before the fireworks. Come on down. It's a little dance party afterwards. But it's a great scene. And the most impressive thing is our Parks and Rec crew. has a place spotless before you guys go home. You can go out to that beach at 8 in the morning the next day, and you won't even know that this major festival with 20,000 people at it were there the night before. Everybody in town, downtown,
Unbelievable.
and watching the fireworks that go off around 9:30 or so. Listen, come on down on the 16th of July. That's when the other summer music series at Protect starts. They get the stage ready for the 16th for the Celebrating Lyme, and then every Friday night on Main Street, there'll be music down there as well. What a great town. What a great guy you are.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Add something every day
Thanks for
to
having me.
this
I
town.
appreciate it.
We really appreciate what you do, John.
Well, thank you. I really
Keep
appreciate
it up.
that.
And it's good to know you had a career at Dow, because I always pictured you were like the Baywatch guy, that you were probably down there at age 16 and never really had a life. You just always showed up.
Well,
on
I
the
was an
beach.
athlete. I love sports,
you are,
as you know,
Yeah.
and I just love people, and I can't say enough about our town.
You're a natural, and you're a great ambassador down there. And listen, if you
But I work with great people.
yes, you do.
I work with great people.
and I get to do the same. If you're down at McCook's and you see this guy, by all means, give him a wave, give him a shout out. Tell him you saw him on TV. My name is Mark Nickerson. This is Issues and Answers. My guest was John Lake. He's the dude down at McCook's, the mayor of McCook's, and our ambassador, and watching out for people's safety and crowd control and everything else. Until next time, I'm Mark Nickerson. Issues and Answers. We'll see you, East Lyme.